So, what'd you think about that crazy fucking Sean Ryan podcast?
Oh my God. Okay, hang on. Let me get back into that headspace.
I actually went back and listened to it a second time.
The okay, so my my biggest takeaway from that was when it was later on in the podcast, all the first stuff they talked about was insane. But when he started talking about basically what he thought reality was, or like
Mhm.
why we're here, and I'm probably gonna like say this wrong, but it sounded like he was saying that basically we are like everyone that's ever existed, everyone that's existing right now, we're just tiny fragments of God, basically. And it's God or whatever you call that force learning and growing by having all these unique experiences
Yeah, that is kind of
in
what he
this
said.
world. And that really fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, yeah, because it was interesting. A lot of that podcast was him kind of theorizing what he thought all that meant, and that's obviously just his theory. So who knows if any of it's true? But the whole fucking laser on the wall, man. That's what. Like that's what makes it difficult listening to podcasts like that. Is like I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, like fucking ask this question,
Yes.
because I kind of glazed over stuff, right? Like they talk about the wall, um, and he did say other objects, but they didn't go into any specifications on that. So I'm thinking like, and then he even, because I even asked you, I was like, did he say skin? And I went back and listened, and he did, but he went over it so fast, I still don't 100% know that that's what he meant. like test, like what, like that's what I would have asked. Like, okay, hold on, I'd have been like, pause. Have you tested this on like human body, and does it work? Yes or no? And what about other objects? Like what about your clothes? Does it fucking work on your, or does it work on any and all objects that you've tested? Does it, what about other living things? What about animals? What about trees? Like what, you know what I mean? Like I would want to know questions like that, because surely if he's done this thousands of times like he's claimed, surely he's tested that laser on other things.
I mean, you would think.
Surely you would. That's what I would do. If once I saw that in the wall, I'd be like, well, what else? I'd be pointing that thing at every fucking thing, you know?
My
My
balls.
balls are real.
I need you to look for the code, Billy.
No, because I would,
Look
because
really
I'd want to
close.
know. I want to know.
Smoke this first.
I mean, the first thing I would want to know if I was doing that is I'd want to put my hand in front of it and see, like, because what if there's code, like if we're showing his code, that's like, like, what does that mean?
But I mean, he did say that though, right? I mean,
But like I said, he said it in a sentence. I can't remember what else he was saying with something, and it was like, it's almost like he said he tested on other objects in skin or something like that, but he didn't actually say, like he didn't say. That's why I say, like, I would have been like, whoa, wait, pause, because he didn't say, like he said tested it on skin, but he didn't say, you know, what the fuck you saw or whether you didn't see, or because I remember, like I said, I caught it the first time. I was like, did he say that? But then when I went through the second time and was paying attention to that, when he said it again, I was like, fuck, that still didn't answer the question.
yeah.
But I got the impression he was saying that it didn't work on skin.
But
So
why? But I wonder why not.
yeah, so what does that mean? Does that like it, because that okay, that made me think another thing, right? Like it almost would make more sense if we did show code and we're all part of this whole simulation. But then it's like, so does that mean we're somehow real and we're in the simulation? But what does that like? Because think about this, right? Like take the movie The Matrix, right? They're in the simulation, but that's just a projection of them in the simulation. Like they're, what I'm saying, their physical form in that simulation is also part of the code, because you even see, like you even would see that remember the scene at the end of the first one when they killed him and then he got back up, and he started seeing everything, even he was like code,
Yeah.
right? Because that's part of the simulation. But then how would you explain everything around you being code and simulation, but like, we are not? Like, what does that mean? We're like in this little fucking room that's everything around us is simulated, and we're just like on a, what do they call those fucking treadmills they're working on, that like walk in every direction, and like we're, you know what I mean? Like we're just, it's just simulating that we're going places and we're really not, because how you know
Well,
what I'm saying? Like otherwise, because I mean, think about it, right? Like if the floor is fucking simulated, how are you walking on it?
yeah. Well, okay. So what it was, I see what you mean. What it would suggest, because I do believe this is a simulation in essence. I mean, that's like what the Bible says. All the major world religions kind of say that in a different way. But what you're saying suggests that we're all we're all basically standing in a big room wearing VR goggles in essence. And
Or
so
something,
we,
yeah.
yeah, or something like, yeah. And so like we are real in there, and then everything around us is simulated that we're seeing.
Yeah.
But it would also suggest that this is, if there's not code on us or in us or whatever, then it would suggest that this is what we look like outside the simulation.
Yeah, that's what's weird, right?
Because I've always wondered that, like
Like,
what.
is this real? I don't know, or maybe that's part. See, that's what's the mind fuck, dude. Maybe that's part of the simulation. Is okay, because you got to think. Okay, if this is some type of simulation, it's built and designed for us to not realize we're in a simulation. But it's almost like there are these little fucking secrets that are there, designed in the simulation, so that we can eventually figure it out. And maybe that's just part of the simulation, is that we're not meant to see. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like that, you know what I mean? Like that could, like we could still be code just like anything else. We're just not meant to be able to see that or see it in the same way, or like who knows?
Like
Things
that's
could be
how they
so.
wrote the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it could be so complex, and we just, I don't know, man. But like that fucking podcast blew my mind when he started. The fact if he had come on and said this is what I've seen, and that was kind of the extent of it, I'd be a lot more skeptical. But him saying that there are thousands of people that have done it and seen the same thing, and the fact that he said that they've even gone in and, you know, because that's one thing. Initially when he said it, when he started talking about it, I was thinking, well, maybe it's a suggestive thing. But then he kind of basically said that, like, well, maybe it's, you know, it's something that people are expecting because it's somehow been suggested. So they started doing tests with people and telling them, hey, he said, like, you're going to see giraffes and this and that.
Oh,
And they went in knowing nothing about code and said, yeah, I didn't see any of those things you were talking about. But there was this weird, like, Japanese style fucking, you know, code in the wall. And so I'm like, if that's all true, what he's saying, like, that's fucking crazy, man. And how can that not be real? How can an experience on a hallucinogen or whatever DMT is considered, how can people actually be experiencing the same thing? That seems impossible to me without it being real.
well, I mean that's been the theory for a long time, that at some point, when at some point when they, like the government, the scientists and stuff, at some point they realized that actual travel was interdimensional and not physical. That's why they stopped really investing in the space program, because they realized that you actually, are you there?
Yeah, I think maybe my battery in my camera died. Maybe, I'm not
Oh
sure.
no,
I gotta see. Hold on.
I can
But
still
yeah,
hear you.
yeah. What were you saying though about the?
No,
Yeah,
just I mean, the idea that actually, like, true space travel and stuff is all about dimensions. It's not about fueling up a rocket and trying to go to the moon. It's like, no, you, I guess, smoke some DMT and go talk to like other dimensions.
that's all you gotta do.